So I come from a very conservative family. By conservative, I mean my family is small and we were raised to be very close. Myself and my siblings, we were very close with my parents. I feel like I tell my parents everything. There's nothing I cannot tell my parents. But at that period where I was single, unmarried, a graduate, working, already pursuing her master's, it was a really difficult period for me. I'm not going to lie because I felt my self esteem vanish. As I said, I can tell my parents everything, but somehow I felt like my parents were not happy with my marital status. My older sister got married at 20. She was a level 300 and she got married at 20. But there I was at 23 and I was a graduate. I was working. I was done with NYSC. I was already doing my master's. So I felt my self esteem begin to diminish. And I felt like even though they didn't want to say it because they didn't want to hurt my feelings, because obviously I'm their child and obviously they are educated, way more educated than for them to actually think that being unmarried was a problem. But I could tell they were not happy because, as I said, every parent's dream is to see their daughter finish school or probably get married while almost finishing school, settling, having her own family. So I totally understood. Now, where the problem mostly lied was with my extended family because I felt my extended family members pressured me more than my family did. And then there was society as well. And then there were friends, friends who will pull back from you simply because they are married and you are not married. A lot of my friends or my classmates started getting married from level two, level three, up to final year. They were already having babies. Some had two children, and there we were, single. So some people you actually vibe with, some people you're actually close to begin to pull away from you. And trust me, it's not a nice feeling. It's not a feeling that any person would actually enjoy. But then it is what it is, and it is the society that we live in. So I graduated at 21, did my master's, did my NYNC 21, 22, and then I got a job. I started working with an NGO, and then I decided to do my master's in health economics around 22, 23. So my my parents are well grounded, educated people. My dad has a PhD. My mom has a master's. So obviously they understood why I didn't want to keep my life on a hold simply because I was unmarried. My dream has always been to be my dream was to be a professor at 30. So I felt me having a master's at 22 and then probably um start lecturing at maybe 24, 25, do all the things I could do, pray hard, work hard, get to the point where I was a professor at 30. I don't know what I was thinking, but that was my dream. That was my plan. But, you plan and Allah plans and He is the best of planners. But that was what I wanted. So my parents were not particularly not happy with the fact that I wanted to get a master's while I was waiting for marriage to come. But my extended family, that's a totally different story. So when my extended family, most of them, my aunties, heard that I was getting married, the response was, "Are you crazy? You're unmarried, you're a graduate, you're working, and now you want to get a master's? You want to make yourself more expensive? Do you know a lot of men will be scared to approach you? Is that what you want? You want to die single?" And for some reason, some of my aunties always felt in my house I was the less good looking one. They felt all my siblings, all my sisters were prettier than I was. So there I was, unmarried, and I was pushing myself to becoming to raising my standards because they felt a man who has a first degree would not want to settle for a woman who has a first degree, who is working, and who had a master's. They felt I was setting myself up for remaining unmarried for the rest of my life. But then I felt, why would I keep my life on hold simply because of my marital status? It's not like I didn't have anybody at that time. I had somebody that I wanted. I had somebody that I loved. I have somebody that I felt this is the person I want and this is the person I'm sticking with, irrespective of what anybody thought about, irrespective of what aunties or society would say. I had suitors, but in each of those suitors, I kept looking for this one person. I kept looking for him in every suitor. I mean, there were some of the qualities that I saw in him that once you come one, two conversations and you don't have those qualities that he had, you're gone. And I also had this mentality of you had to stay in Kano, you had to be from Kano for me to marry you because I'm such a sucker for family. So I didn't want live I didn't want to live far from my family. So that was also another criteria for me. Another criteria for me was you had to be dark skinned because he was dark skinned. So I wanted somebody that was dark skinned. I wanted somebody that had his exact physique, his exact character, his exact, the way he talked to me, the way he cared for me, the way he treated me. I wanted somebody that would do that exactly the way he did it. So it made me realize if you're looking for this person in every person that comes to you, then this is the person you want. Why would you want anybody to change your opinion or to change your perspective or to change who you want in a spouse? You're the one who is going to live with this person. So it was a no-brainer that I was sticking with this person. Now the problem was he wasn't working. He was done with school, he was done with service, but there was no job. So it was more like he was hustling, but he didn't have a stable income. And that was the issue. And my parents felt he wasn't ready to get married. And we had conversations about, do you really want to wait for this person? Jobs are hard in Nigeria as it is. Do you want to wait for this person? What if he never gets a job? What if he's never ready? What if you waste your time and then at the end of the day you have to settle for somebody else? My parents gave me the ultimate choice. Whatever I wanted, that was what they wanted for me. Nobody gave me a timeline in my family, but my extended family always felt like you're wasting your time with this guy. Jobs are not easy to come by. If he doesn't get a job, are you going to stay for as long as that? Especially mazing and Zidabasi Amana. So it was really difficult for me to filter out all that noise. I knew what I wanted, but then at some point, people say things that will make you sit back and reflect on your life, even though this is what you want. But then you sit down, you reflect on it, and you be like, okay, am I too blinded by love to see this? Or are they really making sense? Or am I the one who is just deceiving myself? So there was that and a lot of other factors. But as I said, my gut was telling me it had to be this person.